Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms coming to you for our last night here in Hamilton, New Zealand. Tomorrow we head off to a new location. Where shall it be? You'll just have to tune in tomorrow night to find out because I'm not telling you today. So what happened today? Well, if you read my Facebook page, you know I got a wake-up call this morning. Not one I had planned. It was an alarm. And according to my mum, it was actually the second alarm that had gone off that morning. She said she got woken up by the alarm going off earlier for a lot longer than it did the second time. So I completely slept through the first one. She has no idea what time it went off. She just knows she went back to sleep and got woken up again by the second one. So, but read the Facebook posting that I posted earlier today about that. Because that was kind of funny. 2 mornings in a row had wake-up calls. Excellent. But today the weather was, it was raining, but it wasn't, it was short showers that we had today, and we managed to go and visit the Hamilton Gardens, which was amazing. Yes, it was winter. Yes, there was not a lot of growth around, so a lot of bare gardens and that sort of stuff. But still, the layout of the place and what they had built there as far as permanent structures go was just incredible. And to be able to see artist renderings of the gardens they're going to be opening later this year is just phenomenal. I mean, we didn't get in to see the animated ones because that's not been open till later this year, much to my nephew's disappointment. But we did pick up my oldest nephew and took him with us, and we had a great day walking around the gardens, and we walked and we walked and we walked, and there was only one time during our, I think we were there for like 2 or 3 hours, that we got caught in a rain shower. And it wasn't much of a rain shower. We managed to find shelter very quickly, very easily, and we even walked through the rain a little bit. I mean, it's only water. That's why the hair's looking even frizzier than normal. It's just water. It dries. It's not a problem. And it didn't spoil the day at all. Got some great photos, which I will put up shortly as soon as I figure out which ones, because I took a lot of photos. But we'll put those up later for you to test out. But the gardens were phenomenal. We went through areas. There was a Tudor style garden. There was Catherine Mansfield inspired garden, and Catherine Mansfield is a New Zealand author, and so they had gardens inspired by her, and they had this great grass tennis court there with this marquee set up with this afternoon tea set out there with the china cups and everything else, and down in the far corner, and that was in one corner of the tennis court, and at the far end in another corner was where the string quartet would sit to play, and they had the chairs around the edge of the tennis court, and then after they'd had their tea, they would then dismantle, everything would be taken down, and they would play tennis, or tennis was played first and then this was the after bit. So that was kind of cool. Got to see this. They had this what type of Ford? It was a Ford. They had an old Ford car there, which was really quite cool, and trying to get pictures of it without kids in it was very difficult, because every time we jumped in to take pictures, kids would appear and climb aboard, because right now it's school holidays while we're down here, so there's kids everywhere. But that's not a problem. It's okay. We saw, what else did they have? They had a conceptual garden. They had an herbal garden. The herbal garden was really cool because they had these 4 hedged off areas in there. They had like herbs all around the edge, and then they had these 4 hedged off gardens, and in each garden they had, one was medicinal herbs, another one was cosmetic herbs, another one was kitchen herbs, and the other one was potpourri. So what would you put into potpourri? So that was kind of cool. Went through to a kitchen garden where there was fruits and vegetables all growing around in there. Saw some beautiful heads of cauliflower. I kind of wanted to walk over there and pick some, but we didn't. We went to they had a Japanese style garden, a Chinese style garden, an Indian type garden. They had an English flower garden, and we walked into the English flower garden area and basically turned around and walked back out. The smell of the manure that they had put on the gardens was so strong, we were literally gagging on the smell. It was that bad. But we went into the Chinese garden next door. They had, what other gardens did they have there? They had a Maori style garden. We didn't get into that one too much because that's when it started to rain, and so we kind of took off for shelter somewhere. They had this huge sundial area out on the floor, and unfortunately the sun wasn't out for it to be able to be seen properly. But they had these big circles on the ground, and one was represented, the center of it represented the sun. Then you had a circle from that, which was Mercury's orbit, then Venus's orbit, Earth's orbit, and then they had these little plaques with timeline things across it, showing whether it came across the circles or went around the circles, and where the sun lands on those particular days of the year for those different anniversaries, like Christmas Day, Valentine's Day. They had New Year's Day on there. They had, I got the July ones. I took a picture of the July ones, so we'll post that in the pictures earlier when I post them after this. But it was just really great. And then at the end we went and they have this wood carving, and it is this massive wood carving that would probably be about 10 to 11 feet high and very long. But the detail in this carving was incredible. It's behind glass, so trying to get photos of it without the reflection in the glass was a challenge, but I did get some good parts, so you'll see some of those when I post the pictures later on. But the detail was incredible, and I really want to come back during spring to see these gardens in full bloom. There were some flowers that were out because they're winter flowers, but or year-round flowers. But to see that in spring would just be amazing. I mean, it was pretty incredible today just walking through there. So I'm going to post the pictures of those when I get off here and go through my 100 and something photographs and decide which ones I'm going to post. There might be several postings. So you'll get, and we took pictures of the signs, so it tells you a bit about what each garden is about and that sort of thing as well. Oh, and they had a sustainable garden as well, a sustainable backyard. And so you walk through there, and there were plants that you could use that had not just food purposes, but had other purposes as well. They had a couple of chickens in there. Well, they weren't chickens, they were these really big hens. They had an earthworm farm, which was all covered over so we couldn't see it. They talked about composting. They talked about water use. They talked about this fern that floats. They had this old bathtub there with the water in it and this fern that was floating in it. And apparently that fern can be used to feed the chickens. So, and then they had like these little signs around, but a lot of the signs, the information had worn off, which was kind of disappointing because it was kind of interesting what we were reading, the bits that we could read. But it was a very interesting sustainable garden. What else was there? The Indian, the Japanese, the Chinese. The Japanese had the, what do they call it? You get where they've got all the gravel and all of that, and they go and they do the raking through it. They have the Zen garden. They had a Zen garden there. It was awesome. You couldn't get over it though, and it had these danger signs. And when you went and you looked over the fence and down into because there was a hedge between you and the Zen garden, and when you looked down into the hedge, you had like a 6-foot drop. These hedges were about 5 to 6 feet tall, but we only saw the top maybe 12 inches of it between the edge of the path and the garden, so you couldn't step on this area without falling down. So that's why they had all these danger signs up. Obviously some people had tried. They had, what else did they have? The Indian garden was really cool. They had these beautiful coloured poppies. They were gorgeous, yellows and reds and oranges. In full bloom, they were just stunning. The Chinese garden had some koi ponds there, with these beautiful koi in there. They had the bamboo was amazing. Got to see that. Let's see, the Tudor garden. That was really interesting. They had these, I think that was the one that had the poles, and they had different mythical creatures at the top of the pole, each with a shield in front of it with like a crest on it. I don't think I actually got any close-ups of any of them. I know I took pictures, but I'm not sure if I got close-ups of the statues on top of the poles, because they were really cool. But it was just really interesting, the different types of garden that they had in there, and they've got some amazing gardens that's going to be coming, which I got a picture of the artist rendering, so that's going to be awesome to see that. And this was just a small portion of the entire garden area. We got to see what's called the enclosed gardens, and I did get a picture of the map afterwards, and you will see how small the portion was, and then there's just this massive other areas of the gardens to go see. So we just did the enclosed gardens today, and we spent 2 to 3 hours wandering around them. But we started off in the cafe. Great food, awesome food. It was good. It was really good. But anyway, that's it for today. Where will I be tomorrow? You will have to tune in tomorrow to find out. We get to visit family tomorrow. I believe we're also going to a cemetery to see where my great-grandparents are. I think we're doing that too. Oh, I just gave a hint. For those of you who know my family will know where they are. But anyway, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope you all had a super fantastic sparkling day. I know I have. Rain and all, it has been an awesome day. Fun day with my nephew out there with my parents. My nephew and my parents out there just having a blast wandering around these gardens. It was a really super fantastic sparkling day. It really was. And since we've got back to the hotel, we've had nothing but rain. Rain showers, more rain showers, and more rain showers. But that was okay because I had some work to do, so got that done. So it's been a very productive day and a very relaxing day at the same time. But anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling evening. And tomorrow, oh, this is how exhausting the day's been. Hang on, let's see if I can find them. Where are they? Look, I've tired out Casey, Kiwi, and Three Gus. They're exhausted. They walked a lot. We walked a lot. But anyway, we will see you tomorrow from a brand new location. So tune in to find out where we are and what's so special about this particular area that we are going to. There's a lot of history in this area, and I will see if I can dig up some for you for tomorrow night for the area that we are going to. So have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will see you guys tomorrow. He konera.